Hello YouTube, 87 Ricer here. So, I am actually on a road I've taken you on before. And this is Masses Creek Road. I've ridden my bike down here, my mopeds before, so I've showed this road in a few of my videos. But just gonna kind of chit chat for a little bit. I've been taking Bumblebee, or Beaterbee in my case. I've been taking Beaterbee to work, so you kind of get some photo shots. Oh, right. Oh yeah. So, somebody's been having some fun out here. But yeah, so I've been taking Beaterbee to Whitty's, to Whitty Brothers this week. So, since the last time I showed Beaterbee, his crack, actually this crack right here, it stopped right here, and then it spread to there. So it's literally a crack in the windshield. Now, what that clear stuff is I've used clear nail polish on the crack to kind of keep it from spreading, or to keep the moisture out, but it didn't do anything. It didn't really help. Anytime I run the heater, the difference between the heat and the cold just expands it, and this right here at the tip of my finger is actually where it stopped from the last time that it spread. But it went all this way, so it's like right in front of me. But yeah, so if you're new to my channel, this is Beaterbee, and Beaterbee is a 1987 Camaro V6 automatic, the little 2.8 in it under the hood. I refer to it as a B6, the B6, because he's a V6. So the way I see it is, if a vehicle doesn't have some kind of badge on it, then it's not a transformer. It has to have a badge of some sort, or a sticker of some sort, indicating it's a transformer. And so some of you already know the history. I made a video of how I came across Beaterbee, but yeah, some of you already know the story about it, but I'm going to kind of refresh for the new subscribers. Beaterbee, like I said, I am a huge Transformers fan. I don't know all the Transformers, but I do know I'm just a huge lover of the Transformers. Whenever the first movie, the first live action movie of Michael Bay, the one with Sam Witwicky, when he acquired his Camaro, Bumblebee was he had flaws. He had faded paint, smoked. He had been through some battles, and over time he was worn until Michaela said, why is he turning into this piece of junk Camaro when he could transform? And then he transformed into a cool looking Camaro. And so ever since that first movie came out, I fell in love with Camaros because I fell in love with Transformers and Camaros, because my first car was a 1994 Camaro V6 3.4 automatic, and it was that maroon burgundy color, and I named it Cranberry because of the because of the cranberry sauce that you get out of the can. It's that like purplish maroon color, and that's why I called that car Cranberry, was because of that. But I've had Bumblebee makes my 4th Camaro. I had a 1985 Camaro T-top V6 automatic at the same time that I had my 94 Camaro, and I sold the 85 Camaro for like $700, and I bought it for $500. I traded a 300 power. I traded a $300 Nitro Sport RC truck and $200 cash for the 85. My 94 had some, it had an issue going on that needed to be fixed, so I needed money, and I sold that 85 to fix the 94. And then I ended up selling the 94 Camaro for like $900, and then I ended up buying a Dodge Dynasty, a 91 Dodge Dynasty, like right after that, which that car lasted me a little while for sure. But yeah, I went from a 94 Camaro as a first car to a 1991 Dodge Dynasty 4-door, and then over time, you know, me and my wife, we had our first child. I went to a dealership and I said, hey, I need a car that's going to be reliable, and I can rebound some of my money that I've got invested. And I said, it can't be a sports car, it's got to be a nice car. And what did he do? He brought up a 2001 Camaro V6 automatic T-top. It was green and blue. It had that green-blue hint in the paint. I think the main color was blue, and as you walked around it, it was green, or maybe it was green, and as you walked around it, it was blue. But it was that, and we kept it for a little while. And of course, when it came time to trade, I went to a dealership and I traded for another Neon. I traded it for a 2004 Dodge Neon. And that was the worst mistake I ever did, because that Neon didn't even last me a whole year. It was probably like 4 months, and then find out that the motor had a knock, and it was a shitty car, and it wasn't even my fault. I mean, it was my fault that I traded for it, but I didn't do anything to the car to make it do that. It was just shit to begin with, and I didn't realize it. And the place that sold me that car knew what the fuck they were doing. But yeah, so I traded that car, and then I went for quite a few years without a Camaro, and I told myself, I said, I'm gonna get the next sports car I get, it's gonna be a V8. And that wasn't the case. God had a different plan for me, because I said I was gonna get a V8 sports car as my next. And I seen Bumblebee, one of the kids at our church, he had this car, and it was blue and black. And I asked him, I said, hey, what year is that car? And he said, oh, it's in 1987. And I said, oh my God, I said, if you ever want to get rid of it or sell it later on, let me know. I would love to buy it. And I didn't know if it was ever going to happen. I didn't even really have the money to buy it, but I was going to make an effort to buy it. And so a few years go by, and I seen that he stopped driving it. And so I asked him, I said, hey, why aren't you driving the Camaro? And he goes, well, I got a truck now, and the Camaro, I don't really need it. So yeah, so I worked out a deal with him, and this car almost went to somebody else that was there with me when I was looking at it, but that person didn't go with it, or he didn't make quite the effort that I did to get it. So I waited a while thinking maybe he might, and he didn't do anything to acquire it. So I eventually hit up the person again. I said, hey, I don't think he's gonna and buy it from you, but this is what I got, and I'd like to buy it. And he agreed to sell it to me for what I had, and ever since, I've had Bumblebee, or Beaterbee. I call it Beaterbee. I love rat rods and shit boxes, vehicles that don't look the greatest. I love that stuff. I'm a huge rat rod person. The reason for me loving rat rods is I was at a car show in Pacific, Missouri, and there was a rat rod group sitting, showing at the event, and I walk around that car, and I moved on to go look at another car, and later on my dad comes over to me and he goes, "Hey, when you walked around that car, did your leg get wet?" "No." He goes, "Well, mine did. It was spraying water at me. There was a guy across the street that had a little controller, and he sprayed water at my leg when I walked around it." And I thought, oh, that's so cool. So that was during the time that I had my first Camaro. So after that, I became an instant lover of rat rods, and they're not perfect cars. They're pieced together, they're rusted, and everything about them is just cool in my mind. So having a car that has a broken front end, dents, well, this fender got replaced, but dents all inside of it, faded paint, all these spider veins on here, that stuff doesn't bother me. It does not bother me. This car, I don't want a car that I'm going to be afraid to drive because of the paint or because it's too nice. I want a car that I can enjoy. I'm just happy that this car runs and drives, because the way I see it is, even though they don't have a 1980s Camaro in the movie of Transformers yet, they could. Maybe in one of their next few installments. But the way I see it is, these cars are just going to go up in value. I'm not going to sell this car. This car's as old as I am. And I had a 1987 Harley Davidson Sportster that was, same age as me. But when I acquired Bumblebee, I switched my love over to the Bumblebee, and I offloaded the Softail, the 87 Softail, because I knew that I really could only afford to keep one going, and the Softail would have been a great project, but I just didn't see it happening with my money. So it's easier to maintain Bumblebee, and so my love transferred to this car. So yeah, he's got flaws. Front grille cracked. The person I bought it from smacked a deer or two on that side, so busted it. And I said, you know what, just jerry rig it, make it work. And it was blue when I picked it up, and I said, I can't do blue, because under the hood it was already yellow. The engine bay was yellow. So I knew that the original color was yellow. And I said, you know what? This just calls for Bumblebee. It screams Bumblebee. So this is my beater. This is my version of Bumblebee Beaterbee. But yeah, I think the most disappointing thing is the crack in the windshield, because that didn't happen until after he got painted. After he got painted, and then that crack started. The same day I picked it up, that's when that crack started. And it's just been going slowly but surely. So I'm not sure when I'm going to replace the windshield, but I'm definitely going to wait until it finishes cracking the rest of the way, and then I'll replace it, because I got historic plates on it. So I only drive this car very rare. It's just every now and again I take it out, run the fluids, take it to the local car meet in town, or go on a quick cruise to another, car meetup, and just kind of keep it going, because that's the way it should be. It should be enjoyed. It's not my daily. I got my daily as my Toyota Camry and our Buick LeSabre, but yeah, that's my part-time driver. So I think the next windshield that I replace this one with, I have the money to replace it, but I think the next one I'm going to see if they got those. I'm going to see if they have a windshield that has that stuff layered in between the glass to keep that stuff from happening. Like on these newer cars where when you get a little chip, it just stays there unless it's so deep and it cracks everywhere else. But usually whenever they get a little ping on their windshield, it usually just stays right there. It doesn't expand like that. I'm hoping they got glass that has that stuff in between the glass to keep that from happening. If they do, I'm going to spend the extra money to get that glass so that kind of stuff doesn't happen again, because I don't want to have to deal with the spider vein glass. But at the same time, another part of me says it's fine. It's just part of the appearance, a part of that ratty style. So a part of me says just leave it alone, and another side says, yeah, but replace it at some point. So in between both, it's either going to get replaced or it's not. But I guarantee it will, because I don't want my kids to have to drive like that later on, because I'm gonna teach my kids how to drive this car when they're at that age of learning. Do what my parents did with me and my uncles, down some back gravel roads. Sit in the seat, drive down the gravel road and learn. That's how I was taught, going down gravel roads. And that road that I just showed you before I got here, I learned on that road too. So, I'm making this video too long. I'm sorry. I'm just rambling on. So, anyways, I'm 87 Ricer. I'm going to finish out this video driving back to Hermann. And I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate every one of you. Love you all. Have a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, Happy Holiday. Finish out your week on a high note. Enjoy. And yeah, come at you with some more videos later. Bye.